Do we get chances for...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen who have joined us on this Dr. Fundi channel. My name is Fundi Lenyati. I am the host of this channel. This is a channel that we use to advance issues of health, more on the proactive side of health, but also just to educate and empower people to make better decisions about their health. But this is a channel that we also use to celebrate people who are doing great things within the healthcare professions, but also beyond the healthcare professions. Today, I've got a special guest. My guest is Dr. Viwe Nogaga. Dr. Viwe Nogaga, he is a qualified specialist plastic and reconstructive surgeon who is based in Mthatha, working in the public sector there, but also, running his own practice as well. But we will talk more about that. He qualified for his undergraduate MPCHP degree at Medunsa, which is now called Sefako Makgatho University. And then he spent many years studying, and eventually he became a plastic reconstructive surgeon. He will tell us about his journey, but the reason why I've invited him today is because he has inspired me. He actually comes from the Eastern Cape, yes, so I have the soft spot for my homies, and he has set up practice in Mthatha, which is the town where I come from, and he is providing specialist medical services that have never been in that part of the world, especially by somebody who's a homegrown, medical. So I'm proud to present to you Dr. Viwe Nogaga. Doc, welcome to the Dr. Fundi channel.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Dr. Fundi.
Welcome, cool. Sitting is I always like to ask clan names of the people that I interview.
Yeah, Ndingu Mthombe Nolwandle.
Mthombe.
Yes, Oduma.
Uduma.
Singabantu abasuka ngapha eNqamakwe. Sathi uba uthukela kuba sibaleka ngapha. KwaZulu. Hayi sakuthiwa carry over to eNqamakwe. And what I probably say, our great father passed on Kujini, and we carried Tina Iklenyet by Imbokoto, who gave birth to Unogaga without the father. So that's how, so we have this motherly feeling, motherly bond, because survival has been through the strongness of a woman.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful talk. And just after I put a post that you were going to be my guest today, one of my Facebook friends who originates from Mthatha, Simbiz Babu Shoes, he actually said, no man, that guy comes from my area, and he started listing the doctors from Mthatha to basically prove that there's more doctors that have come out of Mthatha than boxers. But anyway, let's leave that for now, Doc. Viwe Nogaga, where were you born, Doc? What kind of family were you born into?
I'm from literally humble beginnings.
Yes.
Literally, it's true. I grew up in Tanzania.
Yes.
And we were not really even allowed to go to town. We go to the beach solely on Christmas and on New Year, and shopping was done highway in Tanzania. So I told myself, we were in a sharing house. I told myself that I must be the one who's making a difference in my community and in my life. To move on, fast forward, is I did my MPCHP. I remember
you're moving fast, Gqirha. You're moving fast.
very fast.
Yes, I need to know a little bit about that Mthatha, period. What kind of values were instilled in you growing up in Mthatha within that home?
In my home, we were a very close family. I didn't have a father to take care of me, but the mom did her biggest part. And all I had with a grandmother who always reminded me that I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a doctor. It didn't make sense because I had loads of things that were not pointing towards being a doctor. But everyone would say, this child is going to be a doctor. I remember my final year in standard 10, those days. They all said, look, everybody here is supposed to do standard grade of mathematics.
Yeah.
My standard 10 was in Hlokoma. I said, but the end requirement for medicine is not
you can't do standard grade for medicine.
Standard grade for medicine.
Higher grade.
Fortunately, we had to choose and sign it off. So 3 of us chose higher grade by force, I'll say. And we're shouted at that, that look, you're going to fail, you're going to have problems, and we're not having teachers to teach higher grade. And my June exam, I remember I provided them with my question papers to conduct a June exam for us because we're not taught, we're taught in standard grade. What grades we made it to get exemption. It was called exemption. Went to vets for 3 weeks went to vets, and at vets it was a pre-med of some sort.
Yeah.
I was so confused there that, like, in library, you go into a huge library, you're looking for one book, you don't know how to look for a book, and everybody is talking English. It was just a mess. It was just a mess.
Yeah.
I came back home. I said, no, I'm not coping.
Yeah.
The reason being, I think I'm not coping. I'm from a non-model school, meaning a Lokshini. So I'm not coping.
That's a great school. That's a great school.
Yeah. So I went to interviews at Cambridge High, saying, okay, the principal saw my results and they asked my reasons. I said, okay, I just want to learn English.
Yeah.
And go back to university. I think I want to bridge this gap. The principal said, no, nonsense. People who passed in my Cambridge High School, you've got better marks than them, better results. So try another plan. Yeah. So fortunately, there was Dr. Sia, I forgot the surname, but he started in Medusa. He made few calls, was accepted in Medusa, and that was my undergraduate.
The rest is history.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
With BSc, we were not from a great family. So after BSc, I had to accept. They said, my parents wanted me to accept that I need to be a teacher. I said, no ways. Okay, this is not me. This is not me. So I forced to do medicine without the real support, but they were supporting me at heart, but financially they were not. In fact, I don't expect any Black family from a location to afford any tertiary education. There's no one who's running around now with about 150,000 to teach one child. So it was. So I had to do piece jobs, teach computers, some there and there, and I survived. And thanks to I got a few bursaries, which made me where I am. So due to my
the medicine, you must do teaching. How did they receive that news that you are not following what they had suggested? You are actually pursuing medicine.
No, they were in support of that. They made it clear that the only reason was financial.
Yes.
Otherwise, we wish you to be a doctor, but we cannot afford, which made sense.
Yes.
So, yeah, it was never, I said, okay, I'll see to it, I'll survive.
Yes, but I'm sure they prayed for you, because even if they didn't have the money, they I'm sure they believed on the guy above that he can deliver.
In my family, I'll always say I've been a precious child. So there has been prayers even today.
Yes.
I won't that puts me in difficult position, because if I really hurt, I can't tell my family.
Yes.
I don't tell them. They just see me ignoring them, because they always pray for me. So
yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, Doc. And so you finished your medicine when, Doc?
It was 2001.
Yes.
So I did my internship at Livingston, and I remember well, I was employed at a provincial hospital.
Yes, the one provincial, yes.
So I was so frustrated there.
Why?
Like it was 90% white.
Yeah.
And 10% black, which is hard. I'm one of the 10%. I remember at some stage, I would like to say this in Xhosa. I remember ngenye game DT. I went to superintendent. I said, I'm resigning. Number one, mna bengafundelanga belungu. Two, bengafundelanga ngihlale eBhayibheli, ngifundele uyohlala eMondi and umsebenza. So
superintendent that who was the superintendent during that time?
But he was white. He said, no, I'm not coping. The issue, there was so much apartheid there.
Yes.
It was visible. Nurses, it was so hard. Like I had to memorize patients' name and everything. Like I used to be expected to knock off at 4, as I'm paid for. But knock off at about 6, 7, trying to memorize things so that in the following day, I will not be
embarrassed.
And they will start by saying, you don't even know the patient name. I think, am I supposed to memorize 40 different names? But they transferred me to Livingston. Livingston was a joy, and I got to enjoy my life there. So for community service, I was fortunately, I said, instead of East London, let me go to Mthatha, because I've never been in a rural area, and we're from Nqeleni, in fact.
That's where I was born, in Nqeleni.
Yeah, you're from Nqeleni, and I've never been.
I was born in Mthatha, which is under Nqeleni, just in Barnabas Hospital.
So one of the courses, I was doing well in medicine, undergrad. One of the courses I didn't make it properly was in community medicine. I remember one of the questions, they said, describe pit toilet. I said, pit toilet, what kind of, like, what is how are you supposed to build it? And so in community medicine, we were even taught those things. I said, okay. But I I had a supplementary exam, then I memorized it. So I wanted to see the rural part of the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
Which was Mthatha and going home to Nqengeleni. And yeah, it was exciting. Did my community service there, exciting. I went to Elodil, you know, Xhosa.
Yes.
I went to Elodil, Xhosa, and enjoyed myself.
Yes, you know the beauty, and people may not understand this. I also remember when I was an intern, or when I was applying for internship. Okay, this is before 1994, and that was 1989. We all wanted these big hospitals, Bara, you know, Natal Street in Gauteng, Groote Schuur, you know, King Edward Hospital. We wanted those big hospitals. And I was accepted at Natal Street, you know, to be you know, but at Natal Street, it was such a busy, you know, hospital. And so as an intern there, you literally are a vampire. You go with the ward round the whole day, the whole morning. And then after the ward round, you pull bloods. And then in the afternoon, you are phoning for results. And then you present them the following day. So there wasn't much practical experience besides that. And so within 2 weeks, I decided, you know what? I was funded by the Transkei government. Let me actually go and work in Mthatha. Yes. And I always look back at that as a point where I actually learned so much practically, because there's not these many layers of senior doctors that you are working under. You tend to do things on your own, and by the time you finish internship, you are much more confident. So I'm actually supporting, you know, the way Uti you enjoyed rural medicine.
So it was so nice there. You get to learn almost everything, like from basics, psychology of human being. Being a doctor, you're almost everything. And financial support. There are people who will need financial support for their loved ones in terms of when they can't even bangcwabe. So you need to feed uyovela. So accelerated my growth mentally and the independence. And one thing I'll always say, I've been in Joburg for quite some time, and I've been in Mthatha for a considerable time.
A lot of time, yeah.
I've had lots of thank yous in I've had few thank yous in Joburg.
And in fact, the thank yous zasemakaya, they may even be accompanied by a sheep or a chicken, you know, or something like that.
You learn thank yous, and I must tell you, as people, those are things you can have all the monies, you can have all the funds, but one thing lacking is to get a thank you, to receive a thank you.
Appreciation for your service.
The appreciation of the work you're doing and all those things. So in Emakaya, you get more of that, which is fulfilling. I can't trade that for any other thing. Yes. It is more important to me than 2,000 rand or 5,000 or 500,000. So
yes.
How I'm wired.
It tells you as much as you know, as far as medicine is concerned, it means there was a calling within you. You must be in the caring professions, even better in medicine.
I've always thought, I thought of corporate, but corporate as who? I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I will fit perfectly well as a doctor. But the running around of a doctor, and you don't have time to wear a tie. You don't. It was quite a problem.
It was not something that you imagined,
But as I got into medicine and I found joy. I mean, I found joy. I'll even say, if you want personally to be level-headed, you might as well be a doctor and go and do engineering or go to law, go and do whatever the case, whatever interests you. But 6 years of medical training is not a waste in your life because it teaches you humanity, it teaches you, it fulfills you, it takes you to another level. You get
but this is controversial, if you don't mind. You know, there is a school of thought from others that, you know, when you get that MPCHB certificate, sometimes it tends to get to the heads of some of our colleagues, and they think that they are God's gift to humanity, and they tend to carry themselves in a way that has got some superiority complex towards others who are from other fields. So I've heard a lot of that, and as a result, in the early days, I would not tell people that I'm a doctor, because then they would put me in a box of these people about unguye, even if you are not that kind of person.
I must tell you, that's a weak point of many people. Not only in medicine, people abafundileyo, they think ukufunda is the thing. Let me tell you, there are lots of intellectuals out there who will make it in life 100 times more than you. But the issue is, I usually take this. In life, we have different roles. God took us here and gave me a role. I have a quick story. I had a sort of, I'll say, car hijacking of some sort in Joburg, which was, and then as I was stopped, one of the guys identified me as one of the doctors who once helped in Bara. You get what I'm saying? So to think of it, you're superior to other people. You're putting other people in a state of not being able to care or to practice their roles. So that guy being there saved my life. Or saved my car, saved everything. So we have different roles. We have, you will not live without a person who's planting trees for fruit. I usually even say in my workplace, look, we all have PESA. I might be the head of department. You might be a nurse, you might be a cleaner. I'm not your superior. You must do what you're paid for. I'm not here to police
to lord
you.
over them.
Yes, you just have to do what you're paid for. I'm also to do what I'm paid for. And being my superintendent, my CEO, is an employee. You must look into yourself and see what role are you having in society, in life. So my role is to heal people who cannot be healed by their own immune system.
Yes, lovely, Doc. Lovely. Yes. So, Doc, so what led you to choosing plastic and reconstructive surgery as the area of medicine that you wanted to make a difference and heal abantu kuyo?
Iyo too, sir. My major, I was involved in Koch. I was involved with a circumcision.
Yes.
Helping go to the initiates from time to time. And then in some complications, not in my hands, some complications where one of the boys who had to come to me had a septic circumcision and
Yes.
they ended up chopping their
Penises. Yeah, amputation.
the amputation of the penile amputation.
Yeah.
It was so painful that when I spoke to him, I felt the pain. The worst thing he said is that uchama ehleli like a woman, meaning
Yes.
you urinate. You have to sit when you urinate. You can't stand when you urinate.
Yes.
So it was never a concern to him
Yeah.
in terms of reproducing again
Yes.
or erection, but this thing of it completely took out his manhood.
I was about to say that, Doc, to say, you know, the penis itself, as the male equipment. I normally call it equipment. It is, we actually put ubudoda bethu, our manhood, on the functioning and the presence of that organ. And if anything goes wrong with that organ, as men, you actually feel like you are less than a man. So I can imagine what you were, especially this is a young man who still had so much life ahead of him.
And it's easier, it's better if he grew up having that problem.
Yes.
But at 18 years, you know the joys of having it. All of a sudden, you tend to sit when you urinate. It was so painful. So I said, what intervention can I make? Urology? No, they create the bladder. But then plastic surgeon can create a tool that will be enable them to do that while learning. So it was my major calling because I was like in deep rural areas.
Yes.
And there was nothing cosmetic about it. To top it up, the patients I would get were, doctor, I look so thin. How can I gain weight? It was never more of cosmetic. It was more of construction. There's patients, people who have abnormalities like burns and other abnormalities, but the main thing that took me to that specialty was
to restore functionality, of the organs about.
Yes, that would have been my thing.
Yes. Yeah. No, just on that point, Doc. Last week I had a guest here, and we were discussing the whole issue of whether there should be the lifting of the ban on circumcisions, or they should continue to be banned. And obviously, we now know that there was a lifting of the ban, except for EPI. Now, this one is just an opportunistic question, really, for me. What are your thoughts about the fact that there has been the lifting of that ban? Do you think those precautions and measures to prevent COVID-19 will be easy to implement, emabhomeni?
It's impossible. I mean, you get one of you, if one of you has COVID-19, all of you will have it. We've been there, but it's not feasible. And you dealing with boys who will go there in numbers.
Yes.
So it might be a serious challenge for COVID-19. I'm happy that they are banning at least these hotspot areas, which is PE. Having said that, my payoff line is restoring quality of life.
Yes.
Coming back to Mthatha, if you didn't go there, you don't have value. Yeah, almost nothing.
Yes.
So still, quality of life will be poor.
Yes.
poor, literally. So you just have to go there at some stage or another. But the ban is all over the place. It's bad. But if you banned in your household, so this thing can never be solved by a household. We can't take it to the parents. We can't take it. It has to be a government ruling that says everybody is not going, because those who happen to go there and don't catch COVID, when they come back, they think they're superior to their peers who wouldn't go there for. So that's my take.
Yes, and one just last question, Doc. I know it's an off ramp for me really to be asking this question, but
Okay.
Again, in the culture, in the Xhosa culture, there's been reluctance to embrace Western trained medical doctors in the whole process. So I'm actually interested, Ukuba, how easy was it for you to be embraced by the communities we're helping Eliodale? Because the idea of uze ugqirha ebhomeni, some people may actually then look at those boys as some weaklings or whatever. So I just wanted to get your thoughts around that, Uguti. How easy was it for you to be embraced as you were assisting with problems here and there?
I never had difficulty, maybe because of character. Throughout my growing, I used to. My grandmother used to say, even a rich man will need his spelling. And you get it downtown.
Yeah.
And a rich man will not be able to go downtown.
Yeah.
So I took that with me, that I have to mix with a different type of a person. I'll tell you, police were my friends.
Yeah.
Superintendent of them, Omangi were my friends, Utsotsi were my friends, Onote were my friends, and like different types of people. They'll say, I used to travel from Xhosa to Mthatha. You'll find out taxi when I'm leaving, only 2 passengers. They say, I don't, man, please take these guys for us, man, please, man. Just drop them. I'll drop them for free. Then they pay. So I fitted in the community like they are their son, or they are one of them. So it was easy for me. And another thing, Western medicine, as you said, you think you're superior. You take away that superiority, try to learn about the culture. Obviously, when you go to school, you don't have time to see different things that are done culturally. But there are books, there are people that you need to ask. Even if you ask one thing all the time, so that you understand the culture, you'll be able to fit in. Above all, when you go there, Mapomeni, you transform you being Western, you be one of them, because you've been there. So to be one of them, and they will understand. And they try to listen. Another problem we have as doctors, we want to treat us, we're not treating patients. So the patient will tell you, this is what bothers me. Make sure what bothers him, you concentrate on. If you can't treat, but still explain why I cannot treat what bothers you, I'll treat there. So that's one important thing that a person, one strong point I have with my patients, that I want to listen to the patient, I want to understand what is the problem. I don't want to suggest things. The operation that I have to do has to be suggested by them. You get right. So we are in this together.
Yes. Again, being a family physician, I did family medicine, as my postgrad, and one of the core things about being a family physician is the fact that you learn about how to optimize the doctor-patient interaction, and specifically how to zoom in and understand the agenda of the patient, not my technical agenda, the patient's technical agenda, and work with the patient and his family, sometimes even his community, to deal with his agenda. So I fully agree with you that even if you are a plastic surgeon, you still need to understand the agenda of the patient who has come before you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was privileged to be with Prof. Fanyan, who's a family physician. Spend some time with him, learning a lot about what you're saying.
Yes.
So I said, you need to learn what you don't know. So I learned from him. And then before I went for plastic surgical specialty.
Yeah.
So in my specialty, I was in vets.
Yes.
Which I was rotating between Joe Pekshan, Helen Joseph, and Chrisani Baragwana Hospital.
Yes.
There, under the leadership of Prof. Elias Ndobe.
Yes.
Whatever I have, the skills I have, he's the best. And proudly to say, he produced more plastic surgeons in the country single-handedly. Plastic surgeons. When he qualified, I think there were less than 5 plastic surgeons, blacks, and now more than about 20, 25, sort of. And single-handedly, he produced them. I was fortunate to be one of the people he nurtured, he liked us. I used to even assist him private to learn more skill and public. So it was a very beautiful journey with first, like also researching like Carol Ben.
Yes, Carol. I'm actually a patient, Carol. In 2001, when you qualified, I actually had a breast lump. And it got investigated at all the levels, from Sona to Fennec, and eventually I had to get under the scalp, and luckily, after the accident,
it was benign.
it was benign, but it was a bit scary to go through all that process with all the tests not ruling out malignancy up until the last one. So Carol is somebody that I respect quite a lot. I think she's amongst the best when it comes to breast, breast health.
She taught me a lot of breast, and she gave me, gave me instruction that, look, go and open a breast unit in Mthatha. I'm going to support you, like whatever you want, funds or anything. So, Carol.
But she means it though. She means it.
No.
I mean, that NGO Yake, the Breast Health Foundation, is doing great work, and it has multiplied now throughout the country.
In the world, she's a world-class leader in that. Having said that, one thing I learned from Prof. Ndobe, I would have wondered, I started with the penal thinking, this part of reconstruction in beds. He said, when you qualify, Viwe, people choose you. You don't choose people. They choose you. I must tell you, I'm popularly known as a breast surgeon now than a plastic surgeon. Some patients, do you do plastic surgery? I said, but I'm a plastic surgeon. I thought you're doing breast only. Patients chose me as a breast surgeon because I happen to operate on some patients with a huge breasts, and patients got so happy about the results that I'll say they marketed.
Yes, there's one that I saw on Facebook. You know, somebody who tagged you and was showing twins that zinjanina after you had operated on them.
So so I got referrals. Like I got patients from Cape Town, from Joburg now. They're from Durban, from East London. They come here to Mthatha. As much as yeah, it's the practice chose me to be more of breath.
Yes.
As much
because
as
this patient of yours, Gubomikazi Mnono, who tagged you on Facebook on the 18th of November. A very happy patient, obviously covered the face, but she was still proud enough to show the twins after we had operated on them.
Yeah, what can I say? Yeah.
No. I don't want you to say anything. I'm just actually confirming the fact that the people that you operate on are so happy with the outcomes of your intervention that they are even prepared to publicly advertise you for the good work that you did.
It's yeah, what can I say?
Let's pass. Let's move on. So whilst you are a reconstructive surgeon, but you are now sort of gravitating towards breast-related, interventions, because that's what the demand is coming from that area. Although you are actually broader than just breast.
Yes, that's an issue, and as a result now, for instance, we running a waiting list of at least a year, meaning we've got so many ladies that came all over the country. Now we're running up to, I think, November next year, waiting list, where I have to operate every week. I cannot be sick, I cannot take leave. So if I take leave or I get sick, it will run to 2022, the waiting list, breast only. So it's so sad. And the issue is some of these ladies, they're not accepted by medical aid. They say, medical aid say it's a cosmetic issue. So if in private, I do them, those who can be accepted, those who can be cash, I do them, it produces wonderful results.
Yes. Just talk before we zoom in on the breast scope within, what you do. Yeah, within the plastics. Can you just, for a person who doesn't understand the kind of work that a plastic reconstructive surgeon does, just give us the broad scope. Obviously some of it is cosmetic, and some of it is actually reconstructive, functional restoration. So I just want you to just give us briefly the scope of work that a plastic surgeon does before we then zoom in to the specifics.
A plastic surgeon, in fact, it's a very broad specialty, poorly understood, well marketed as a cosmetic specialty. It's nice because your patients can be from a 1-year-old to a 100-year-old patient. We do from head to toe, meaning from hair, literally hair to toe. If you bald, we're able to transplant hair to you. It's a nice specialty. It mixes medicine and art. It's art. You have to visualize what the outcomes you want according to the patient's need. So zooming direct to things, we have things that people, from your face, we can do your face lifts, your cancers, your hair restoration, your nose, if they beat, they know your nose, your mouth, your lips, your ear. Sometimes we reconstruct the ears, your eyelid. That not cosmetic. And also there's cosmetic part of the face, which your facelifts, your Botox, your fillers, your neck, and there's quite a huge on the face. And then we go down, hands, we do hands from your elbow down, it's us, and your nerve repairs. So some people get into car accident, they have a nerve repair, they think they break a bone and a nerve. You find out a bone is easily fixed, but your hand will not work because the nerve was cut, never repaired. So we do repair nerves, and they grow and the functionality goes. And if your nerve you didn't get, we take a muscle from somewhere, we take it back. You go down your breast, your reconstruction. So if we're talking about systems, you do bends, Chile, up and down, knees, a Transkei, they stay with inane. House. You find out the children, most children get bent while the parents were not there. And there has not been a center to treat those children. And those children are from parents who are working. People are born with cleft lip.
Yes,
we do have those congenital, those things that people are born with that are abnormal. And to summarize what plastics work, we like GP, general practitioner of surgeons. We can do anything. Another doctor another surgeon cannot do.
Yes. Now, Doc, thank you. I think I'm very happy, but like you said, the space has been advertised more for the cosmetic side of it.
The cosmetic side.
More than the other side of the necessary reconstruction for functional reasons, you know? Yes. But otherwise, you guys, you do everything, you know, literally from the scalp all the way to the toes. And I'm happy about that because I think a lot of people don't know much about the non-cosmetic side of things. They only know about this one. Let's get now to the area around breast interventions. What are your top 5 ops that you do around the breast?
Firstly, reconstruction, when they have to cut off your breast because of cancer, you can reconstruct something that looks like a breast and make your other breast smaller so they look like, instead of having one breast, we'll have 2 breasts, something that looks from your own body or from your implants. I usually say that is not a cosmetic thing. There's no, being a woman, you must have 2 breasts. And 2 breasts that are satisfying you. So that we do lots of ladies who have macromastia, meaning huge breasts for their body parts. Because they cause headaches, backaches, they have skin rashes, the self-esteem is so poor that because of huge breasts. They start at the age of 14, 13, 14, find out they cannot, those women are even proposed by older men because they think they're older. It's a problem.
So let's focus on that macromastia, Doc. It's people, like you said, they have got excessively big breasts for their bodies. And obviously, there are complications that then come with the breast being much larger for the body of the person. And a few years ago, in fact, let's say around 2005, I was a medical advisor in one of the medical aids. And we had a lot of applications, ex gratia applications, that I needed to adjudicate as to who should get the medical aid to pay for this, and who should we reject? And so amongst the medical reasons were those who, as a result of the weight from the breast, they had chronic back problems. Others, they had, problems with a lot of fungus on the skin, under the breast, and many others. But anyway, this is your interview, it's not my interview. So what kind of problems are normally associated with excessively big breasts for one's body?
Yeah, medical aids are giving patients, their patients, not us, their patients that has problems with approving this for this procedure. They think it's cosmetic.
Yes.
You'll find out first of all, your breast strap, your
yes.
grooves there. To have grooves, it means that your bra is carrying lots of weight. You get what I'm saying? That's one. Your backache. Your backaches, they have backaches. Sometimes they have neck problems and headaches. That is physical. Your fungus under the breast, which is extremely difficult. Now the question is, why would a medical aid pay for a psychotic patient, not psychotic, for a patient with depression, and still don't consider
the underlying cause
by especially the teenagers and under 25s? They get to be isolated. They get to be in a way of depressive. They get to be low self-confidence, and the medical will say no, because those ladies, it's not more than heaviness, more than the physical problem. There's a psychological problem being they absorb, and also other problems like unable to choose clothing.
Yes,
are expensive. So I took upon my department that in Nelson Mandela that, look, we need to give these ladies a chance, that we can do them free, but yes, limited numbers, and then those who can be done private will be done private. But I mean, these are basic problems that I feel their quality of life is not as good as when they didn't have extraordinary big breast.
Yes. So, and you've been able to help quite a number of those people to reduce, I call them twins, to reduce their twins to a manageable size. What is the, for somebody who doesn't understand the size, when we're talking about macromastia, almost they talk about, let's say, 34C or 36 this and 38 that. What size are we talking about? Obviously, it varies from the size of a person, the body, but generally, what size are we talking about?
Average people, we've got, we talk about cup size. Size A is like a baby. Cup size B is reasonable. You've got, but not cup size C. Average people have cup size B, and then okay, I'll say aesthetically pleasing cup size would probably be cup size C. And then you are biggish in terms of your weight, you go to B. But your double D's, your E's, your F's, your G's, your H's are like huge. So, but also do the measurements from your nipple to your notch, from your sternal notch to the nipple. And it's about 21 centimeters for a reasonable normal breast of an 18-year-old person. But now you find out they go to 35. You can go to 30, still normal, they look up his 35, 38, 39, over 40 is even worse. I mean, so those are another measurements that we take, like from your sternal notch to your nipple. If it's 35, you're likely to be taking out more than 1.5 kgs of breast each side.
Yes.
So which is quite a huge amount, 3 kgs that you carry every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, pregnant woman give birth to a 3 kg child.
Yes.
So he's having them on the chest, 2 kgs, a child on the chest every day.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Doc. I hear you. Now, there's also those who are not so gifted in terms of size. You know, your 32As.
Yes.
Sometimes we can't even put a cup size. So, what do you do for them, Doc?
We call it, they can be autologous, and also they can be, you get implants. You can do implants, which is quite easy, or we can take something from her body, which is
Adipose tissue.
that will boost the breast. There's something like you're taking fat somewhere. And the issue is those of eggs, they are size 8. So you get fat anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know, I mean, I'm not sure how scientific what I'm going to say though. You tend to have the people with smaller tops, you know, the upper part of the body, smaller breasts, but then they tend to have you know, what they call hourglass type of thing, with a lot of you know, bigger buttocks and thighs. That's where you can harvest some fat from.
To be honest, those were our class people. You find that it's not fat, it's muscle.
Is it?
You'll find that most of them, it's difficult for you to get a flat tummy and a figure and then get fat buttocks and all, and you find that it's how they build.
Yes.
If they will go to the gym, they still have that hourglass thing.
Yeah.
So when you see a person has reasonable more fat, you see in your tummy, like your tummy, you find out, okay, there's a B is bit biggish. So almost all of us, you cannot have tummy that is not fat. That is not flat. So it means if it's biggish, it means there's a bit of extra fat you can harvest from. But you know, Africans, we have hips, we have bums, which is not fat.
Which we call the ATMs, the African trademarks.
So difficult from there.
All right, now, Doc, but other people, and there are 2 questions really. Is it advisable to have these breast ops before somebody has had children or after? Because I'm just thinking, won't there be complications if somebody undergoes these ops and they are still going to have babies? Won't it affect, you know, their milk production and stuff like that?
Okay, for breast reduction, yes, it will definitely affect your milk production. It might be lesser and not fulfilling for the baby. So and also when you get pregnant, your breast grows again.
Yes.
It's usually nicer to do a virgin breast, meaning that has never been operated. Than a breast that has been operated and then you reducing again.
Yes.
So ideally, they must reach into a stage of getting a child first. Having said that, I've got, for instance, about 18-year-old baby who even said, I'm not writing metric if you're not doing this breast. He was psychologically not happy at all. Like, mother agrees that no, she's crying every day. And the breasts, when you notice the breasts are huge, they're not big. They tried to take them to psychologists, but the psychologist said, no, this is a culprit. It has to be taken out.
This is the underlying problem that needs to be addressed.
So you have to address. There's some people, for instance, another risk, when you get pregnant with big breasts, they grow again and not even large, huge sometimes. I had a patient that would reported on with huge breasts, like huge, that you have to have wheelbarrow.
Like pumpkins, so.
Yeah, they were big in pregnancy, before pregnancy, but they were huge in pregnancy. So they have to be taken out. But the issue is in the first trimester of you, the risk of anesthesia.
Yes.
You know that patient had to opted for abortion. Said I cannot take it. Opt for abortion, I'll be pregnant again, and then we had to remove that extra load. So it's sometimes it's you weigh according to the patient how needy this procedure is. You get
and then there are also
only for cosmetic reasons, not before children.
Yeah, there are those who, after they've had their babies, and then the breasts are quite droopy and basically like flat, and therefore some would want them to be restored so that is ajonga utishara noka so we are wenza naleyo.
Yes, we do. We do that. We do that also. That one mainly for cosmetic reasons.
Yes.
That's the thing. So if we were to get a space, let's say we don't have enough patients in public sector to cover our theater, then we can do those things like your tummy tucks, all those things.
Siyeza dokho kwi-tummy tucks ndiyafuna sizitheke i-tummy tucks ne-liposuction ndiyafuna nje sizibethe nje not to the same depth as the breast. And I also want to ask you, because you said you guys are GPs of surgery. So there is now a trend, you know, maybe not so much here at home, but here in Joburg, it's starting to be there as well, where people are not happy, ladies are not happy with the looks of their private parts. And so they you know, there are some surgeons now who are doing bioplasty and other things like that. So is it stuff that you have done as well as part of your training?
Yes, we've done that as part of our training, and we happen to do one of the patients here in public sector still, but the labia was so wrong that it was even interfering with sexual intercourse. So now the question is, what's the function of a vagina? One of the function of the vagina is to do sexual intercourse. If it cannot function properly, we have to correct it.
Yes.
So that's the reasoning around it. So we do get, remember, if you feel your quality of life is not good because of your huge, or some were huge because of trauma.
Yes.
Traumatic birth, which was not sutured properly back, and finally huge, you get to have your partner, or not necessarily, you're not satisfying your partner, but you tend to, for you, that you're not comfortable
with how your whole area, you know, vulva area looks.
Yeah. So our obligation is not to judge, it's to help people in need. And also there's transgender. I know there's controversy around it.
Yes.
The people who really feel trapped in other
the opposite gender.
In opposite gender. As a doctor, we're not supposed to judge.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's wrong or right, but if a patient, this thing's a problem to a patient, I have to solve the problem. That's my take on all those things. So we do all sort of things to help uplift and help to improve the quality of life.
Quality of life, which is why your payoff line is restoring quality of life.
Yeah.
Irrespective, no judgments. You just listen to the patient's agenda and see what best you can do with the skills that you have. Now, Doc, being in the Eastern Cape, we obvious, and you touched on this thing earlier, the issue of circumcisions that are botched, which may lead to amputations, and obviously that creates problems. And in fact, every winter and summer seasons, we hear more about the deaths, but we hear less about the many amputations that are as a result of the sepsis of the penis, which resulted gangrene and all of those kind of things. So now, I'm sure you remember, I think about 5 years ago, the guys at Stellenbosch, they pioneered penile transplants, all right? Penile transplants, which for me, I was very happy because then the many young men who are out there with stumps of penises can at least have hope that somebody can actually solve their problem, but the only thing I was a bit worried about was that the donors tended to be white, patients, there is families of white patients, yet the demand was very much coming from the darkies. And somebody, commented and said, hey, aren't you going to have a zebra penis? A black and white, but actually with plastic surgery, you are able to take skin from one area of the person and make sure that it is uniform. So, but anyway, I just wanted you to just have a take on that.
Quickly on that, one, there's something called medical tattooing. Can tattoo it look like you, like the tattoos that we see all around, but there's medical tattooing. But having said that, it was that Stellenbosch case was, I think, the third or successful in the world.
Yeah.
The first one was successful. It was done in China, successful, and later on got so depressed the recipient and said, please chop it off, because each time the wife was thinking that the wife was believing that he's sleeping with another man while sleeping with so it does so much psychological effect. And also with person donating, we even lacking to donate your hearts, your kidneys. We're not donating these blacks. How much more? Think about it. They will think that you go to a grave with your penis chopped. It's difficult to get donors for penises in our society. I think we need a sort of a mindset that has been.
No, it has to be a mindset change, Doc. It has to be, because at least there is a solution. There is a solution, but like you say, the beliefs, the cultural beliefs around body parts and all of those kind of things, we need to educate. We need to inform people. We need to make people understand that we are solving a problem which, if not solved, still causes more harm to the, I mean, if you are no longer there, if at least you can give a gift of life, to another person through your death, then, and there could be many organs from your body that are donated. So there is a need for aggressive, education around issues of organ donation, and families as well to understand that, if a family member has signed up to donate, they should not overrule that, But on the guys from Stellenbosch, they interviewed the recipient about 6 months later, and he was ecstatic about the performance of his newly acquired equipment. And also they interviewed the lady, who test drove that equipment, and she was actually quite happy as well. So I mean, it's worth doing, obviously, with the necessary education.
No. I agree with you. We mustn't underpin sexuality we think sexuality is a big taboo that is supposed to be underpinned medically. If you're not sexually active, you have to you're sexually functioning properly, you have to hide it. I think that's a stereotype that we have to take away from our communities and our people, because what makes you being proud of a man is being a man. What makes you to be proud of a woman is being a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So also,
and
on something else. I've launched. I'm going to launch a foundation, which is Dr. Viwe Nogaga Foundation, which seem to be helping, accepting donation to help those people that have poor quality health, basically health quality, that need reconstruction, especially breast reconstruction. I'm starting to focus on, because I had a serious outcry of people contacting me every day with this problem. I mean, we've got a group of about 24,000 ladies in South Africa that are in a support group for that. So they cannot be helped in public sector. The medical aids are saying it's cosmetic.
Cosmetic, yes.
Now, at some stage, they need to be helped. And that's including, I've got calls from Botswana, Zimbabwe, SADC countries. So I saw there's a great need to help those ladies, of which, if we were to gather funds and then finance their operations wherever they are, if there's a plastic surgeon in their area. So that's my vision.
Yes. But then there's another thing I thought I needed to ask you about that, Doc. A middle of the road situation where, because it takes about a year for somebody to actually have the intervention with you, to have the waiting list, have you thought of a possibility of maybe partnering with a financial services thingy, whereby then people can actually put money aside, save money, knowing that in 12 months' time, I will be undergoing this op, for those who are able, obviously, to put money aside,
Yeah, the issue is that I must be honest. I'm a doctor.
Yes.
Naive when it comes to legalities.
Yeah.
And finances. So that's my weakness.
Let's leave it, Doc. I see that as an opportunity for me to assist,
to be able to finance some.
To assist those who may need some assistance, and then they need.
For instance, there's some who said, "I have this much, and will I be paying? Can I pay in installments after?" I was thinking, okay, nah.
Let's talk offline, Doc. Let's talk about that offline. Let's move on with our topic. Tummy tucks, liposuctions. Talk to us about that.
Tummy tuck is another thing people don't understand. Liposuction and about tummy tuck, those are body contouring. They're not slimming pills. That's where general public miss the point. You need to go to the gym, eat healthy, and then you'll have these sagging muscles, your soul muscle, sagging skin, and a bit of fat. That we can cut it out, and to contour your body to be a perfect body that you want. But you'll find out a person who's got a BMI of 45 or like huge things by sucking the fat, it's going to be a slimming tool. No, it's not necessarily. And we mainly allowed to suck at most 5 kg of fat, which per time, which is still dangerous. It's too much, even 5 kg. So if you are supposed to be 90 kgs, you are 150. At least we can start talking when you're 110, 100 to go
Yeah.
that. And they'll tell you, even these international, like the Borscht and all those things, they'll tell you, go and eat healthy and go to the gym.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
Dr. Tupro on watched. Yes.
yeah. So they don't touch you if you're not willing. And also it helps us to understand that you are willing to lose something to gain something.
Yes.
Useless to suck your fat and then you get fat back 2 years later. I mean, that's not fulfilling for both of us. And guess what? They'll go around and say, look what Dr. Nogaga has done to me. And 2 years later, they'll still complain that, oh, Dr. Nogaga claimed that he took out fat, but I have a big tummy again. So those are issues you need to counsel your patients about.
Before the operation.
Before the operation.
Yes. Doc, yeah. No, I'm looking at some of the messages here on our Facebook page. There is a patient of yours, Stu Mtunu, who says, I had an appointment with Dr. Nogaga on Friday, the 4th of December, 2020. I traveled all the way from Durban. He is so professional, very calm too. I'm so excited to have started my journey with him. Siyabonga, doctor, for your services. Nokusikhumbula njengabantu besifazane ngezinkinga zethu. So I don't want you to respond to that. I'm just reading, from a happy patient of yours who saw you just a few days ago. There's another one, Yebogazi Bita Nohaji, who says, love how you blend with everyone. That's a special skill. That is your ability to interact with people irrespective of their station in life. And also she loves the fact that you are able to use fat from other parts of the body when you are doing your reconstructions and all of that. So fat can be useful. Basically, that's what she's implying. So I thought, let me just read those two comments for you.
Thank you.
Right. So, Doc, as we work towards closing our thingy, now, can you tell us about your practice? I'm talking about the private side of it. All right. You've mentioned that you are in the process of opening or setting up a foundation to help those who can't afford the services. And I'm actually encouraging you. It's exactly what Dr. Carol and Ben did. And it is actually helping so many people. And you should go ahead and do that. That's what I'm saying. And but then there's the other part of your responsibilities at the university in terms of andithi wena ubupase Prof Ndobe, right? Now you have to multiply Undobe through you producing more reconstructive surgeons. So before, can you just tell us a little bit about what you do or what you intend doing, in the public sector, especially in the training of new plastic surgeons?
Yeah, I've identified people, two doctors who've got great interest. So they are locals, one from Kandule, one from around. So we are in a team. We're building a department. These doctors have passed their first exams as a to specialize. So they're waiting for now to be trained as a plastic surgeon. For now, we don't have training number, but the skill, the enthusiasm they showing, I'm able to transfer the skill. In fact, I will never retire in public if I haven't met 1 or 2 plastic surgeons who are like me. So I must say this is a journey I have in public and the giving back, because at the moment I'm the only one in Mthatha, only plastic surgeon, and then in Mthatha and East London in public sector I think I'm the only one. So it's difficult to get referrals from East London Free Hospital, and it's quite difficult. So I need the extra hands to assist me. And then in terms of private, I'm based just next to Mthatha Private Hospital, which is 55 Nelson Mandela Drive.
Yeah.
The issue is that discourage people is that the fees might not be exorbitant, but you have to be operated in a private hospital. Yes. So the fees for being in a private hospital are extremely, they push the price high. So those are things, but with numbers probably of people who are willing to pay cash, it's easier to negotiate the prices of the private hospital to be a bit cheaper. But if you don't have numbers, you know it's a number game. So if you have numbers, the prices will be high. So that's a thing. And then the foundation seeks to assist those who can partly have money, and then we pay the fees of it's either we pay the hospital fees or we pay the doctor's fees, wherever they are.
Beautiful talk. I think that will go a long way towards helping those who are unable to afford the services or can partially afford. So basically bringing access to issues of reconstructive and breast surgery in the rural part of our country. Now, Doc, let's talk about your practice. So you said it's opposite the Mthatha Private Hospital.
Next to Mthatha Private Hospital.
Right. Now, I looked at your, I would call it an advert for your practice.
Okay.
You are on Facebook as Dr. Viwe Nogaga hyphen plastic and reconstructive surgery. That is the official page, I assume, for your work, not the social page that you are a friend or There's also on Instagram, Dr. Dr. underscore Viwe underscore Nogaga, right? That's also your official Instagram page as a plastic reconstructive surgeon. And there's a WhatsApp number here, 061 523 5305. So is that a number where people send you messages and then you respond to, or what happens?
At first, you remember I opened during COVID.
Yeah.
So I couldn't access even a person to help me. So it was my number.
Yeah.
Now I got so overwhelmed. Yes, they can send SMSs. I'll send to my secretary. Now I've got another practice number, the secretary practice number. But I'll put it on social media, the secretary practice number. But to be honest, plastic surgical patients, they are delicate patients. They still need you, like they need you. They have pertinent questions that they need to understand. More than money part, but need to understand, doc, this is a problem. So from time to time, I get to answer them. But
I understand you also have got some social media presence every Tuesday, where you are educating people about your space and also answering questions, Doc. Right? So can you tell us a little bit about that? What you do on Tuesdays?
I'm trying to educate people about different plastic surgical procedures, things that can be fun, because as we know, plastic surgery is not correctly known. It's known only as cosmetic, but we need to, even on cosmetic, there's lack of information. So every Tuesday, trying to show this is what plastic surgery do. Pick on one topic, research about it, and then come up with some brief on it to educate people. And I'm hoping after some time, I'll collect all the topics, compile a booklet that is informative booklet, probably if it were to be published.
Yeah.
Those sorts of informations of what plastic surgical doctors do.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful talk. And in fact, on that WhatsApp number, instead of you being inundated with questions, nowadays there is the ability to link WhatsApp to a bot. A bot is a robot, all right? That can act, yeah, not a robot, not the traffic lights.
No.
Technology robot that can actually answer the most common questions on your behalf. So you feed the robot, all right? Or you feed the bot. Let me say, you feed the bot with information, on the common questions. Somebody wants to know what is a liposuction. It reads it and then it gives back the answer. But the answers are coming from you. You fed the information to the bot, all right? It will say, hello, how can I help you? And then the question, and then once it picks up an operating word there, it then gives them the answer from. Therefore, you don't have to be answering people around the same things. So I will sort you out outside of this with somebody who can help.
Yeah. I think I need to understand all the technological aspects.
Yes. So I'm just saying there is a solution there so that at least the common frequently asked questions, you don't have to be physically doing them yourself. You just do it once, and then those questions, those answers are your answers, but answered by the bot on your behalf. Okay. All right. So that's that. And the other thing, Doc, I just want to know, I was impressed with the fact that you have a logo. You have a logo of Dr. Viwe Nogaga. And now, in the medical space, we don't tend to have personal branding, which includes your logo. So I've seen you now. I see that like a logo with Dr. Viwe Nogaga, plastic reconstructive surgery, restoring quality of life. I like that. And I've seen a similar thing from Dr. Luvuyo Bayeni. About a week or two ago, he has now started having his own personal brand that he's developing, and your colors are green. Can you just tell us what informed that logo, though? I see a face on the left side of the V. Then I see somebody with a modern type of body on the right side of the V. And then on the N, I see something, but I don't know what that is. So can just the inspiration behind the logo, Doc.
Okay. Obviously, it was done by a professional. I'll proudly say this guy is an ex-MK member.
Beautiful.
A soldier. So, but anyway, the inspiration is plastic surgery is known as a cosmetic, hence the face. You get hence the face. But I wanted the name to be part of the logo instead of dissociating myself from the logo. We do body sculpturing, plastic surgeon. So you see that person.
That lady with a flat tummy and well constructed,
That's body. Yes, that's body sculpturing on. But I like. I'm a male. I won't take pink color, red color. But hence the green. I was saying.
But Doc, they say it takes a brave man to embrace pink. But anyway, continue. We're still telling us about your choice of green.
I wanted earthy color, but they said earthy color would be more dull. So to choose from different, my favorite color would have been blue or green, but blue didn't come out very nice as to green because I was in blue or green. So to be honest, yellow would have been my color, but I'm not proud of yellow.
It's shouting, man. Right.
Yeah.
And then on the end, the descending arm of the end on the right side, there's something there, but I can't see what it is.
Let me, okay, I don't have it with me now. Yeah.
All right. No. Awuzukwazi uyibona nagqirha lena ntsika. But okay,
yeah,
you can't see.
I can't see properly. But
But anyway, it doesn't matter. All I wanted to highlight was the fact that you are starting your practice. You have thought beyond, what other people think about when they're starting a practice. You have put a logo that has been well thought through, and your name below that, and your promise basically to your customers, restoring quality of life.
And in the process, I'm also, okay, it's not that I'm doing many things.
Yeah.
During my study, I know this, I had opportunity to read more about skin rejuvenating product. Yeah, like your face, your face, your face products. So that's another thing I'm developing, but those should be a medically correct products, like
Yes.
necessarily the end of the counter. We want to get into the market, and those products should be talking to our mainly Black people. Okay, this our skin color. Let me say black or white, but our skin color. And yeah, so more than the practice, I'm also developing facial rejuvenating products, skincare products in terms of facial rejuvenation. So yeah.
Yeah. No, beautiful, Doc. You're doing great work. We need to wrap up, Doc. So what message do you have to aspiring, plastic surgeons or plastic reconstructive surgeons out there? And let me confess that my daughter, who is now in grade 8, she has just passed grade 8. For the last 5 years, she's been focused that she wants to be a plastic reconstructive surgeon, and she has not changed her mind. She has researched the space. She probably knows more about the space than me. She has looked at the institutions across the globe, and all of that, and religiously watches about Botched and other programs like that on TV. And when I asked her, why is she doing visual arts at school? And she's actually excelling in that space. She says, no, when I am a plastic reconstructive surgeon, I will need the skill to visualize the end product, to make sure that as I reconstruct and restore, they actually have, a visually pleasing outcome. So you touched on that as well earlier, the fact that it's important to visualize. It's more of an art, plastic surgery. So what message do you have to aspiring plastic surgeons out there?
Firstly, I want to tell the kids it's doable. You mustn't look into something and think that because there are few of them or there's none that that you cannot achieve it. It's achievable from whatever background you have. It's doable as long as you focus on what you want to do. It's possible. Second of all, yes, plastic surgery is one of the prestigious medical careers. Which is it's fulfilling. If you were to run satisfaction rate of the doctors who are doing plastic surgery, you'll find out we're one of the top most satisfied doctors in
practice.
In the practice of medicine, which is very high. You get like minimal, if one, no suicide rate, which means it's job satisfaction. It's not people looking to job about money in terms of money, but I look into the satisfaction in your field. I sometimes ask myself, man, I'm being paid to touch boobs. It's the most nice job I'll ever choose for myself, and yeah. So plastic surgery is a good specialty, and it's nice that if you don't want to do surgery, you can still do the medical part of it, the cosmetic part of it. Some people just concentrate on hands, they do hands. Some concentrate on breasts, they do breasts. So it's so diverse in terms of specialties. Not like you're not confined in one place as a specialist. Like I would say, if I were to mention most common, your gynecology, you have to deal with a woman, woman problems only, which is and down there only. But we are too diverse for specialty, which is exciting and interesting.
Yes.
Always so, new thing, and there are lots of options to come to treat a patient. So it's not a monotonous profession. So it helps you to think every day. And I'll tell you, there's some suggestions I've been told by my juniors, like these guys that I'm training here. No, doc, don't think we must approach it this way. And you listen, you said, no, man, I think he's right. So it's a lifelong learning specialty.
Opportunity for innovation is actually quite big, and therefore it keeps on challenging you. And you, as much as you are their leader, but you are actually also learning from them because they are looking at things from a different angle.
You must Google the first person who did kidney transplant. It's a plastic surgeon.
Yes.
We innovate and give it to certain specialty to continue innovate. Yes. So yeah, it's an interesting specialty.
Yes. I think after 90 minutes of listening to you and all the good work that you have been doing, all I can say is that I am inspired, and I wish you all the best as you try to bring these specialized health services to the people of the Eastern Cape. And as we have heard, it's not only people of the Eastern Cape. I mean, the lady was coming, the other lady who sent a message was coming from KZN. And you said some people come from Joburg, and others are actually exploring using your services from the SADC region. So may you continue to have the energy and the ability to meet and exceed their needs and expectations. I think with you at the helm, WSU will actually, produce big numbers of people like you. I'm happy that you are saying you won't leave the public sector up until you have multiplied yourself with many people of your competency. And that to me is something I will hold you to, Doc. I'm full-time in private, but you remember our interview. How many people have you? But having said that, I don't mean that then you must stay within the public sector if the conditions are made unbearable. Because I know of somebody who was very committed to setting up professional services within that space that you are in. And after 3 years, she's really disillusioned because the promises that have come from government in terms of making sure that her specialized equipment to do the work she's supposed to do in this space has not been delivered 3 years after she started. And, it is not nice when now the public sector is about, to lose that kind of specialized skill. Somebody who was totally committed to that part of the world is now going to go private. So I hope such will not happen to you, so that you can be able to be of value to the people of that part of the world who are really, people who have not fully tasted the dividends of our democracy in terms of access to health, which is a human right. It's something that is in our constitution, under Section 27. So I hope you will stay put, but I also hope that the powers that be will provide the necessary tools for you to do what you are good at, so that our people can benefit from part of the world.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fundile, for hosting me also. I wish we can have more of this. But
no, we're gonna have more. I think what we are going to do, Doc, we'll find a way to have a topic maybe per month from your space.
Instead of being broad, we narrow one topic, and
Yes.
probably if we can have the third person who's a patient who's been going through,
even better. Yeah,
it will even be better.
we will do it, Doc. We will do it. We'll talk offline. We will do it. We may even do a bit of reality TV, Doc. Somebody before they see you, somebody undergoing an intervention from you, and the person afterwards, and then we put up something here. So the possibilities are endless, but we will talk offline. But this is not the last time we're talking.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you also to all our guests who joined us via the multiple channels, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, or Twitter or Instagram. We appreciate your time. It's a Sunday, it's a family time. Even Doc only gave me 1 hour. I've gone above by 30 minutes. So I want to thank you, and we will meet again in our next session in the next coming weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you.